The little glitches going on. Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to Creators Lounge. Let's see, we're July 15th. Last week I took a pause, took some time to spend with the family. So we took a little bit of a mini vacation. I'm going over here and muting my other screen here. So excited to have you all here live today. If you are watching on YouTube or through Periscope, wherever you're watching, please do reshare it so we can get more people to watch this. Really excited about today's topic. And for those who are first timers to the Creators Lounge, basically the show, what kind of the structure I kind of put this together was really to talk about the creative process and in speaking with individuals, just their approach to how they get to where they're at, the whole journey to when they're working on a project, creating. Today we actually have some. It's like a special edition. I have some special, super special guests today joining me. We're going to be talking about creativity kind of in the world of, in education, and not specifically like traditionally we when we talk about creativity, we talk about like your photography classes and your video production, media, and all those sorts of classes, which are super great classes. But we're talking about trying to bring some of that into some of the classes like our English classes, our math classes, traditionally where we think that creativity is not there, but it actually is. So I'm gonna have my super special guest join me from the Adobe Ed team. So let's go ahead and we're gonna have them join. Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Super pumped to have you on. I'm super excited for it's been like feels like it's been so long since we seen each other virtually.
I know.
I know miss the in person, of course, which we could all be in person, but for obvious reasons we aren't. But so I'm glad to have you. Maybe take a few minutes. I'm gonna have you go ahead and introduce yourselves. Whoever wants to go first, feel free.
Me? Okay,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah,
Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, Claudio, thank you so much for having us on your show. We are huge fans of yours, so we're super honored to be here. Thank you, and just thank you for everything you do in this space around creativity and education. It's amazing to see your work. I learned so much from this show and from your YouTube channel, like so much. So thank you.
well, thank you.
So my name is Tanya Avrith, and I work at Adobe as their North American Education Evangelist. I work on the community and evangelism team. I'm also a teacher. Until just this year, I was teaching. I was teaching high school. And I'm also the co-author of the Google Infused Classroom and the Microsoft Infused Classroom. So thank you so much for having us today.
Well, I'm super excited to have you. And then Clara.
Yes. Well, thanks again, Claudio, for having us. And as echoing Tanya, we're a huge fan of the work that you do. And I have learned so much watching your YouTube channel and a lot of the other tutorials that you put out on Instagram. Like every day, it's something you like, I don't even know how you do it. So for those who are joining in, who I haven't met, my name is Clara Galán. I am on the Adobe education team with Tanya. So she is my partner in crime. And I lead our educator community programs. So everything from our Adobe Creative Educator program, which we just launched yesterday. It was an amazing day. To some of our more digital media teachers, like our Adobe Education Leaders program, which Claudio is a part of. And then, work really closely to connect educators to our product teams at Adobe. And, educators know what's working with students, whether that's through distance learning or in the classroom. And we want to be able to highlight their voices, not only internally, but also on our channels. And similar to Tanya, most of our team are made up of educators. So I started out my career as a middle school educator teaching English language arts and have since then worked at a few different ed tech companies focused on educator-driven professional development, including Remind, which Tanya and I worked at together previously. Oh. So small world and great to be on the show.
Oh, so great. And so I got to meet, I met, I'm trying to go back, I would say 2 years ago. I think that's when I met I think both of you maybe for at Adobe Education Summit, the Adobe Ed Leader Summit in San Francisco, which is kind of bummed out we don't get to be like together
I know.
this summer. But and it was great. Clara is amazing. She does amazing work leading the team. And Tanya at that time was also an Adobe Ed leader, and we got to hang out, go walking the streets of San Francisco.
That was so much fun.
And at night we were like going out. It was a late after we kind of had the dinner with the whole team, and it was like, hey, let's go take some pictures. So we walked the street, did some street photography, and good friend Al and Sherry was with us as well. So we're just going around taking pictures. It was really neat. It was such a fun experience. And
I think that's one of my favorite memories of the whole entire time. That was so much fun. And anyone who doesn't follow Al Thomas must. He's also such a creative genius. And Sherry as well, Kushner, she's incredible. So that was so much fun. Those pictures I still have. They're beautiful. Like that was
they're actually on the Adobe Creative Education featured on there from that time.
That's amazing. It's such a, and I just want to say that like Adobe's done an amazing job when I joined the Adobe Ed Leader group, and just supporting the work I do in my district and as well as outside, and just helping others tell their stories, and really super appreciative of the support, and always reaching out and looking at some tools that sometimes get out before others get to see them, which is really neat to get a little bit of a sneak peek of some things. And so, but today we're going to be talking about a program that was launched. Was it yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like losing track of days.
No, you're losing track of days because we've been talking about it for probably months. You're like, did it just come out? Yes. And I have to give a huge shout out to Clara, as someone who also was on the other side as a teacher who came to Adobe as an education leader. Clara definitely has been instrumental in all of this process. So like, she's super humble and sweet, but like, there's no way that any of this would have been possible without her insane vision and like driving this forward. And one of the things that is so important to this program, to Clara, to the education team, is that it's really community driven, that this is really about like our educators and really empowering their voice and their stories. And that is so crucial to every single decision that we have made along the way throughout this journey of getting to the launch. So we really wanted it to be teacher-centered in this case, right? That it was really driven by the needs of our educators and that ultimately serve the needs of our students. And I'll kind of let Clara talk through kind of the backgrounds and architecture of that experience. But I just want to give a shout out to you, Clara, as your like partner in crime, because this really has been a labor of love, and really we fight for our teachers. We want this to be about you and really speak to your needs. And that is what we're here to do, is serve our creative community.
So awesome. So awesome. And actually, when it launched yesterday, I'm working from home right now. And so I had my other monitor here. So I was watching some of the videos that were happening. It was starting with, I think it was, I don't remember if I hopped on right when it started, but I saw Manuel going over some of the stuff he was doing. That was like, man, he's amazing. He's just doing some awesome stuff. I need to have him on the show at some point.
You should. He's awesome. Funny too.
Creativity, the drawing and stuff. So many different, the talent that's there, and so willing to share. You know, that's one of the things I appreciate about this community is, you know, I'm part of so many different communities. You got photographers, cyclists, and musicians, and all this. And I don't want to say, for the most part, every group, but specifically, especially in this community, is everyone just loves to share what they do. It's not so much like, you know, I just want to keep it for myself and not share. It's like, you know, you got something good, you want to share it with other people, and that's what I love about this community. They're all about sharing, connecting, and just helping each other improve, and is one of the things I appreciate about this. And so, talking about that community, the group. So, the Adobe program that was just launched yesterday. I was kind of looking at it here a little bit, but why don't we? I'm going to go ahead and want to go ahead and share that, Clara, and we can kind of, for those of you who are listening, kind of get a peek at what's going on, what the program is, and let's just like jump right into it. Adobe Creative Educator.
Yeah, we're so excited, and that's really sweet. Thank you, Tanya. It's really, I mean, it's a team effort. Like our team here at Adobe, I love that we work with so many educators, and most of us are former educators. And we're
current educators. I mean, Rebecca is teaching.
Exactly.
Which is insane. Like we have people who are teaching that we work with part-time. So like this is really about teachers.
Exactly. And a huge thank you to Rebecca Hare, if you're not following her, and Jennifer Williams, who were instrumental in launching this program, and they are a part of the community. They are the community. And our creativity crew, which I'll talk about in a moment, which Claudio is a part of. I can't even stress how much that this is meant to be a professional learning community. This is about teaching and learning, sharing with one another, especially with everything going on with distance learning right now. You're not alone, and we're here to be able to connect teachers together. We did a lot of research into different communities that are out there and what we wanted to build for Adobe. And ultimately, one of the things that I didn't want, I know Tanya as well, is not to have it be product first. It's all about what are the end learning goals for students, and how can we really personalize those experiences for you and all around the world for different educators. So I'll share this link, so we can kind of post that in the chat as well. But we just launched this yesterday. So the Adobe Creative Educator program is a badging program, professional development badging program, and global learning community. And so what's really interesting about Adobe, I've been at Adobe now about 3 years. And when I first joined the team, we were really focused on digital media, so CTE, career and technical education teachers, and faculty members who were teaching graphic design, videography, really in depth with our Creative Cloud tools and how to support them. And we're still focused on that. It's amazing to see what digital media teachers are creating. But what we wanted to do was to create an opportunity for English teachers, science teachers, math teachers. I'm a former English language arts middle school educator, and sometimes, you know, we want to figure out how can we help our students tell their stories in visually compelling ways. And those students might not have, you know, an in-depth graphic design background, but there's still ways that we can inspire creativity across the curriculum. And then ultimately, what is the creative process? So define, create, and reflect. You know, we walk through that process of how you can use that with your students and also with colleagues. So the Adobe Creative Educator program, you can see on this page, and it's super simple. As a teacher, I know that time is your most precious commodity, and we want to make sure that this is something that is actionable for you in your classroom, that you are able to use tomorrow, even in distance learning as well. So we've created a Creativity for All course, which really talks about how do you define creativity? What does it look like? How is it tangible? And then again, that creative process, how you can walk students through that. And then one of the most challenging pieces is how do you evaluate and assess creativity? So we talk about that in the course. And then we also, after you complete that 1 hour course, we have, you can submit a simple assignment, which is a learning artifact, which is a graphic that can either be done in Adobe Spark, it could be done in Creative Cloud, whichever tool of you're choosing to demonstrate how you are going to inspire creativity with your students or in your teaching. And then, of course, in the nature of professional learning networks, we want you to share out your graphic with the hashtag #AdobeEduCreative to continue in the conversation. So really simple. I'll actually show you, if you click Start Level 1, I'll stop sharing my screen and move to the other tab here, just so you can kind of get a sneak peek at what the course is. Let's see here. So you can see in here, this is the course experience. So we have 11 different chapters, different educators that you might recognize from Twitter and other spaces who are going to share, you know, how do you assess creativity? How do you foster a creative learning culture? and other topics throughout. And then we have resources, and then other kind of supplemental activities that you can use. And then you can submit your assignment directly within the course. And then going back to here really quick, let's pull that back up there. We have a lot of great resources on this page. So you can see classroom resources to live events. Tanya and I actually do a live stream every week on Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, you can definitely check those out. We have different educator that we feature on once a week. And ultimately what we want to do is feature your voices. So on our social channels, on our blog, we want to hear what's working with your students and how can we share that with the broader community. And what I love about Adobe so much is that our community is truly global. Like on an average day, I'm talking to, Claudio, I'll be talking to you in Texas. And then 10 minutes later, I'm talking to someone in Tokyo. And then I'm talking to someone in London. Like it's insane. And we learn so much from each other. So you can be a part of that. We want you to be a part of that to continue to grow. That's
just amazing. All the work that's gone to get this up and running is amazing. And I don't know if you're listening, if you've done any type of like connected with communities that have like the badging and there's some that are just kind of like, okay, we just give you a little badge and but there's kind of like the purpose, there's intent, and it's like, hey, we want you to kind of put something together, and it's not very hard. It's not something that takes too much time, but it's like take the course and then put something together and share it, and move from level 1. So level 2, is that on the horizon as we speak, or?
Yes, I was actually just meeting about the script and everything else right before this. So yeah, level 1, as you can see, all the resources are on here. Hey, that's the photo we were talking about.
There it is.
From San Francisco.
That was the night.
I know. And all these resources, we have like creativity process cards that Rebecca designed, an interactive poster, like all of these you can access from this website. And this was the creativity crew I was mentioning. Hey, there's Claudio, that have helped us to be the brain trust to put together this program. So again, I encourage you to check this out, mention the show, and then if you tweet with hashtag Adobe EDU Creative, it'll show up on this page, which is really cool. But to answer your question for level 2, so level 1 just launched, and that's really about general creativity across the curriculum. Mm-hmm. What does it look like? How can you evaluate it? And then level 2 will be about instructional design. So how do you actually bring creativity into your instructional practice? We have templates to help create different instructional plans. And then you'll also hear from other educators in the community of, how they're approaching it specifically. That's
great. And going back to the community, the group, the founders of this community, the many of those that I've connected with virtually and in real life, and it's just, that's a ton of knowledge there and experience and everyone that I've met through there is just down to earth, so amazing to sit with and chat with and just talk, and you get to problem solve, trying to figure out how to do certain things, and I just want to say I just love this group of people. They're just amazing, and to be a part of it, it's an honor. I just think it's great to kind of try to reach out to those to the teachers that are not, like I was mentioned earlier, that are not your CTE type courses, which are like career tech courses like photography and video production, because many of those already kind of maybe using a lot of the Adobe products, but some of these you're trying to bring into the creativity back into the classroom. How can I do that in a English class, in a cooking class, and which there's so much creativity that can be done in there that teachers think like, oh, I didn't realize I can do that.
Yeah. Well, and I also think it's so timely, right? Yeah. When we think about, we were having this conversation about right now, like the realities of so many schools is that, like, for now, a lot of schools are going to be starting back this school year not in a normal way. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be in a remote environment. And so it's really now, and it's interesting, like we've even heard like our VP like having a conversation about this morning in a meeting about like the reality now of schools is like we can no longer ignore the fact, like we knew for a long time that this shift was coming, but now it's not even a question anymore. Like we cannot go back to, in a remote environment, teaching the way that we taught face-to-face. And so when we think about assessment and we think about multi-dimensional assessment and how we're going to understand where our learners are in their learning processes, it's almost not negotiable. It's non-negotiable anymore that kids need to be able to press record, need to be able to find ways to make their thinking visible. They need to be able to demonstrate their learning in more compelling ways than like a multiple choice question. Like you can't ask, like you really, like that's it. You cannot ask a multiple choice question and get a accurate representation of where your learner is. I think honestly in the past, even that was not accurate ever, but now even more so in a remote environment, if that's how you're getting information about where your student's learning is, you're not getting any information, because they like anything that you can ask Alexa and mute on Zoom is not a question that you're assessing. And so now more than ever, our kids need to be able to demonstrate their learning in ways that are really pulling together their understandings. And the best way to do that is to get them to create, is getting them to create artifacts, to demonstrate their learning with a video, being able to pull together their learning in a journal and a page with a portfolio attached to that. They need to be able to do like to respond on Flipgrid. Like all of these tools now are non-negotiable, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to get any understanding of any learning. So like right now, having a community of creatives to support you during this transition, I think is so important, because obviously this is not for everybody. Not everyone knows how to teach in this environment. And so this community for me as a teacher, I think is powerful, because as you mentioned, like we really do have insane people, brain trust, that are part of this community, that are part of the Facebook group. For me, it's not about the badge. For me personally, it's about what comes after.
Yes.
It's connecting to the community that you're going to be involved in. Like I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator. I'm a Google Innovator. Yes, the experiences of going to those academies, they were incredible. But the truth is, the real value of those communities were the community, the people attached to it. And so when we were designing this, Clara and I really wanted that experience to be, yes, of course, like we want you to understand where we are and our thought leadership as Adobe in this process. But we really wanted it to be about teaching and learning and ways that we could support the kinds of teaching and learning that as a company is based on our mission, which is to empower the future creators of the world. I'm probably messing that up, but in so many words. So this is really mission driven. This community is mission driven, and what's going to happen after you join is really what we want to highlight as the experience. So that Facebook group, which seems silly, is so important to us, and so important, hopefully, to the people that are going to join. Whoa, yeah, that is amazing.
Tanya, that is spot on, and it really is the value of the community, especially as we're going, through distance learning and figuring out together, like this is the opportunity we have to stay connected. And I love this comment. I did this course through HWV, best course I've ever done. So that is through Wales. So Wales Department of Education was the first class for the Adobe Creative Educator program. We actually did it with them live, and they were our first beta community. Amazing group of educators, truly amazing. And Rebecca Hare led this live session, and so excited to continue to work with Wales and grow the community.
That's great. I mean, I saw this comment too. So if you're not using Adobe Spark, it's an amazing tool. It's free tool you can use on the web, and you can use it on devices, Androids and and iOS. But here, using it cross-curricular, not just like I mentioned earlier, not just in your creative design classes, but pretty much use it everywhere, and it's very intuitive and user-friendly. So pretty much any student can hop on, and teachers can create content within Spark and all across the curriculum. Not just your design classes.
No, it's really, again, it comes back to how students are demonstrating their learning. And that's where level 2 is going to play such a crazy integral role. And I think, like, ultimately, level 2 is really there to help teachers understand where creativity and how to design to get the most out of their students as creatives. And I think that very often people get really caught up because they don't know how to assess, they don't know how to design and evaluate those creations. So they get stuck because they don't realize that it's not the end product, it's the process of the learning where the rich learning is happening. And so this course will be really powerful to kind of take people through that thinking process and that community around instructional design and, backwards planning, and then assessing, through formative assessment, and like all the pieces that will come together are going to be super helpful through level 2. So, and that's going to come out in a few months. We're almost there, but that process of identifying creativity, understanding where it fits into your learning, into your teaching, how to identify it, what it looks like, that's really like powerful. But then taking it to the next level and knowing like how to design more effectively so that your students can be really effective creators is really going to be a great addition to this community.
That's awesome. So, something as I was scrolling through, I said maybe we can highlight this just for the folks that are watching and kind of getting some interest in here. So I'm looking at the access resources, and so can we talk about the PD toolkit maybe, or something? This kind of maybe pique their interest on it. You don't have to go fully into it, but so Adobe Spark, and we talked about Spark just a little while ago, but a PD toolkit. So maybe talk about what that is and how can teachers kind of benefit from that.
For sure. I'm actually going to go to this page. So if you click on that, it'll take you to here. So as a part of the Adobe Creative Educator program, here it is, we're thinking about, okay, what can we provide to educators that would be fun and exciting, but also meaningful. And, at many different conferences, we'll have t-shirts and pens and like all this fun swag, which we want to give away too, and we have, but we wanted something that was useful for teaching and learning, like to have something that's really colorful and exciting, but also is practical for the classroom. And so we developed 2 different things, and this is all Rebecca Hare, architect of these resources. If you don't follow her on Twitter, I strongly recommend. She's also written a book called The Space, which is around learning spaces, and she has a background in industrial design and now is an art educator. So this is really her child through the whole program. But the 2 main things we're focused on is the creativity process cards. So Rebecca has designed, and we've worked with an agency to do this as well, 75 cards that go through the creative process of define, create, reflect. And each stack of cards has prompts that you can ask your students, activities to really like walk through that whole process, and they are adaptable. So we have them within a couple different formats. Some are in a PDF, some are in Google Slides, where you could actually take it and then really make sure that it is adaptable to your specific learner's needs. We have like a physical version that we're sending out and doing a few giveaways. And then we also have a digital version that you can use. Before you complete the course, we kind of give a teaser. So you get 20 of the cards that you can use like directly on the site. But once you complete the course and submit your learning artifact, we send you the full deck of the 75 cards. And I should mention, everything here is free. So we want to make sure everything is accessible to any educator who wants to join. So yeah, once they complete the course, we give that. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is the digital poster. So originally, the idea around this was to have a poster in the classroom that you could track your creative process throughout the year. Of course, many are in distance learning right now. So we wanted to make sure that this poster was interactive and digital and online. So I'll share the kit with you. What we do give prior to completing the course, we have the poster, how you use it, and provide the PDF for you, so you can actually print it out, use it at your desk, or share your screen with learners and share how it's working. But then once you complete the course, we send a more interactive version, which is a Spark template that you can update on an ongoing basis. Cool. So excited for all those resources.
That is really neat. I was looking at that poster. I was hoping you would mention it because I was like, that looks really well designed, and I just love all the colors too. It's like so great.
Those are our colors for the program.
Yeah, I just love it. It's so appealing. This is so quick question. How many have signed up? How many have kind of joined so far? Do we have a running total of who's kind of started, or do you want to share? Or you?
Well, I mean, it launched yesterday.
Like,
we had some folks already also in the pre-launch program. Okay. So Wales is an example of that. So on the Facebook group, I believe we're at currently around 150. But we did have a wait list that we sent out prior to the summit, or prior to the launch, and we had around 3,000 people that expressed interest. So I think we're going to grow really quickly, and I'm really excited about that, because the more people we have, we're better together. We can share more resources, etc.
Well, and that's the key, because if you're like I say, you're struggling trying to figure out like an activity or something to do with your class, and it's like, well, and you mentioned that it's not about the product, but how do I assess? But there may be people in the group that are like, they're just good with numbers, or they're just good with assessing, and they're like, you can really tap into their knowledge to help you out, and vice versa. You're kind of like more on the, I'm really good at designing, and you can kind of help that person with design. So just like I mentioned, the powerful group.
Well, I would also recommend, if you are watching and you're a professional developer, like a coach or a school leader, this is also a great avenue for teachers to kind of rally around professional development. So take the course. You're going to see it's really a great course around assessment and teaching creativity as a starting point. If you tie it to Adobe Spark PD, what I'm doing right now, I'll be doing this in New York City as a professional development, where I start the PD off with Spark as a 101. Like, welcome to Adobe Spark. Here's what it is. This is how you use it. Then we're going to go off. They're going to take the course. They're going to come back. They're going to create the artifact, because now they know what Spark is. They will apply their learning. And then from there, we can have deeper conversations about teaching and learning, and how Adobe Spark or creativity in general fits into the way that we're thinking about teaching and learning, right? And then that's a nice segue. And then the nice thing about that is your teachers are rallying around getting a badge. They are part of this community. Like they can kind of get all those benefits. So I really see this as a great teaching and learning opportunity for a professional development at your own school. And I'm super excited to be able to work with some districts to lead some of that. So I think that this is an alternative, or a kind of like a track to gamify with your teachers some of the PD for the fall.
That's great. Well, speaking of the fall, so this is just a little comment from the cards from before, but Ronald was saying, I just can't wait to use those cards in my class this coming school year.
I'm loving Ronald lately.
Ronald
has been coming to all of our shows. Ronald, I love you.
That's awesome. Yeah. And well, speaking of starting the school year within maybe a month or month and a half, depending how every district's going to be different, but how they roll out the year, we can go virtually. But right now there's a ton of PD happening right now online, a ton for free. That's mm-hmm. if you need to get your hours for your kind of PD hours, there's a ton happening for free. You're not having to pay, you're not having to fly anywhere and pay any conference registration. But there's something happening next week, right?
28th.
Oh no, 2 more in 2 more weeks.
Actually, next week is the Indiana conference, which we're also participating in.
I'll be participating with that too. So
yeah, I feel like it's like a powerhouse. The lineup is amazing. I'm so excited.
So, actually, I'm looking right here. I see 12 days, 15 hours, 23 minutes, 46, 45, 44.
I know. So excited about
12 days, which is the Adobe Education Summit 2020. So if you, this is going to be fantastic. And so why don't we? I'm going to let you all share. Let's talk about this. So I'm going to add it to the stream here. So tell us about the Adobe Education Summit.
Yeah, the Adobe Education Summit. We are so excited because this is our first virtual Adobe for Education Summit. And so this is the first time we'll have 2 tracks. So we have one track that's focused more on digital media and one track that's focused on general education. So if you've never done animation before or any kind of graphic design or interested in video and want to learn more, this is for you. We have our product teams coming in to share basic overviews of how to get started. And then we also have some amazing keynote speakers. So we have Matt Miller will be giving a keynote, Mark Martin, Tanya is going to be giving a keynote as well. And then we have Andrea Zafarikow, who is the Global Teacher of the Year, joining us from the UK to provide a keynote. And then we also have our VP. Aubrey Cattell and Mala Sharma. So we're excited to be able to hear from them. And then I'm going to actually just go down here. It's a 3-day summit. So we have on Tuesday, the 28th, it's going to be a keynote with breakout sessions. We also have some of our product evangelists that will be on doing a fun like smackdown with different features. And then we have a virtual DJ set, which will be pretty cool. And then on the second day, we have what's so challenging, and I would love to hear from you guys who are tuning in about how do you connect with people virtually. So usually when you're at a conference or even if you're at school in the hallway, you might say, oh, hey, like I found this really cool resource. Like I want to share it with you. Or, you know, how do you have those hallway conversations? That's really difficult on like a, you know, video conferencing. So we've created these virtual roundtables that are smaller breakout rooms that have pre-populated topics. So you can join in those, share with one another throughout the whole day and kind of pick and choose what you want to go to. And then on the last day, we have a mini challenge, which is going to be how to use the design thinking process to prototype an app to solve a problem in your classroom. Or a problem with, you know, teaching, you know, to really think through the end user in mind. So that'll be really cool. I can't wait to see everyone's prototypes that they come out with. And we will be giving away prizes for that as well. And Tanya, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I'm just like going through this, the high level overview. Say, like, this is going to be a really cool experience because, you know, first of all, we have the team that is putting on Adobe Max that like we have. So like if you've ever been to Adobe Max, like that's an insane experience. So the same team that like runs that experience is actually working with us to put this experience together. So it's definitely like a very high quality, really polished experience. But we also have really interesting speakers. We have like a very dynamic experience, especially if you're a K-12 teacher who's not necessarily familiar with Adobe. I would almost say like you have to come to this because it will open your mind up to thinking about your teaching and learning in a way that you probably wouldn't necessarily think about it. Because you're going to hear from people that are doing really dynamic things also in industry. And I think it's important to understand what that looks like. So it'll be really a cool experience. And honestly, like usually this is done in person. This year we would have actually done it in DC. But now on the flip side of that, like obviously it stinks that we can't be together and that's super important. But on the flip side, like we do get to be able to make it a lot more equitable. You know, for people who might not be able to get there. So the information is there. And we're also going to be teaming up
with Headspace to kind of have a more virtual kind of community experience throughout the day. So we're really trying to engage with community in a meaningful way through this experience as well. So you have to join. You have to. So Claudio, can you share the link? Because I want to make sure that people know where to go, because you definitely want to be at this experience. And I really recommend, if you can't make it, send it to the teachers at your school who you think might be interested. We want to be able to get the word out.
Yeah, there's the shortcut to it. And I like that as you were going through, you were talking about the different days. You have the inspired, connecting, and then the creating, which is really great. I'm looking forward to that. I'll actually be presenting on Adobe Rush on the 28th. So we're talking about Adobe Rush and there's some really cool news coming up. So if you want to hear that news, you want to make sure and register, sign up. I'm like super excited when I heard something that I'd be able to share there. So I'm like, woo, it's exciting.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So I was like, what? Oh yeah.
I know it's game changing. I can't wait for you guys. I won't say it, but it's pretty awesome.
It is. It's incredible. And I looking at the list, just this is like amazing group. I watched Jason Levine. I hope I'm saying his last name right, but he does a lot of YouTube stuff with he's like a principal worldwide creative cloud evangelist. So he does a lot of video stuff and music stuff, and that's kind of the stuff I'm in. So I'll catch his stuff. So he's going to be doing a session.
They're doing a SmackDown, him and Terry.
It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be really fun and funny. Like, I'm super excited. They're doing a live SmackDown where they have to like kind of outsmart each other. Think like a slam, like if you ever
like
been
an ed camp,
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good.
But they're doing it, which is going to be funny, and they're funny personalities, the two of them.
That's great.
And even if you can't join live, so if you're busy the 28th, 29th, 30th, and you can't make those times, still sign up, because we're recording all of the sessions, and they will be available in your account once you create an account with this for up to a year afterwards. So all of the content will be available. So with the live content, presenters will be on like in the chat interacting with folks. But if you watch the recording and have questions, like we have a email that you can reach out to, and we're happy to answer any questions or connect you to the presenters.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I can't believe we've been chatting for like 40 something minutes. I love, and we could probably stay on for the rest of the night, but I know we all have stuff to do. But thank you for sharing all this. Is I'm super excited about this. The Adobe Creative Educator, and then the summit. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, we're so excited. And I see Amy just commented on there. Yes, I'm sending now to my colleagues. It's a great opportunity. Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to see you there, Amy.
Well, Amy is awesome.
Oh yeah, she is.
Amy is awesome. Amy, we're gonna be in touch. We gotta connect. Like, she's amazing. She's come to everything. We love you, Amy. Okay, we're giving you some love because I gotta meet you. You're my best friend.
She is so cool. I got to meet her at the Flipgrid headquarters like 2 years ago at the last Flipgrid live there. So amazing.
Well, and also I kind of on Twitter found one of her PDs. She does this whole thing with Stranger Things, and I was like,
yes,
she's amazing.
Thanks for watching, Amy. Please share the video too. Yeah, so the rest of you who are watching, please do share the video so others can kind of hear what's happening. And of course, the links have been shared as well. If you see the tweet, retweet it, just share and share and share. This has been great, and not just to share about this information, but just to catch up with both of you. It's just so great, and it's I miss the proximity of being together, like sitting at a table having dinner or something like that. But it'll happen again.
It'll happen again. It will. Fun.
Yeah. It will. We're it's already in the plans.
Awesome.
When it happens.
Bring it out into the universe.
Exactly. We'll just take a rain check for now, but yes, it'll happen.
And to those of you watching, we want it to happen with you as well. But in the meantime, join the community so that we can meet you and, at least meet on the interwebs.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, want to thank everyone for stopping by and watching live. If you're going to watch on replay, thank you so much as well. And I want to thank Tanya and Clara for joining tonight and just talking about that was like in unison, right?
We always do that.
I don't think you understand. We share a brain.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible. For just coming on and sharing what's happening and just really trying to make a shift in education as far as creativity and helping others just really bring that into the classroom. And everybody can be creative. Everybody is creative. And if you're watching, and if you're not in the classroom and watching, thanks so much for watching, and just share with any teacher you may know. This is, and if you're not a teacher, why not just hop on to that summit? You never know. You might like, oh, this is interesting. But hey, everyone, next week I'm pretty pumped. I actually have a confirmed guest, and you all know him. Michael's going to be my guest next week, Michael Hernandez. So
nice.
Yeah, so
cool.
Confirmed it. So gonna have him on the show next week, and pretty pumped about it. And so with that, I'm just go ahead and we'll say bye to everybody, and thanks so much again for watching. And please, again, share. Peace, everyone.